Hello, this is Robyn. Welcome to my channel, Heart Guided Intuition. And here's a general reading for June 6th and 7th, the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, 2020. So it's a general reading for the weekend. And it might not apply to everybody, but it might really resonate with some of you. And hopefully it will be helpful and maybe even a little entertaining. Okay, so I've shuffled the cards and I've chosen them, but I haven't looked at them yet. I like to look at them while I've got the video, started the video, so that the second I get any messages, I'm able to relay them immediately. All right. So give me just a few moments to turn over the cards and see what the message is for this weekend. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, sweet. Oh. Interesting. Oh, how interesting. Okay, hold on. How does this make sense? Belonging. This is an interesting reading. I'm going to take it one card at a time. It's different being on here. I have to tell you. I'm in a goofy mood first of all because I'm recording this Friday night for the weekend. And it's the full moon, and the full moon affects me. So I made the full moon reading. You'll see it. But anyway, I really do. Sometimes, like, if a card reading doesn't make sense, I actually will stop the video and then I'll reshuffle, redo them, so that it's a coherent reading for everybody. I'm just going to go read this one. Okay. I'm just and if it resonates with you, please let me know. Okay. All right. Thank you. So, the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is coming up, which is childhood or remembering. It can mean nostalgia and remembering things from your childhood. And sometimes, like, if this comes up in a love reading, it can mean, a kindred spirit. It can mean a soulmate, someone that feels like you've known forever and maybe actually have known for a long time. But I don't think this is a love reading. I think this is not a love reading. This is about the Six of Cups. Children playing, innocence, joy, things that make us feel the sweetness of life, like we did like children do. I mean, not everybody's childhood is sweet and happy, but every child has sweetness and happiness in them, and that ability to, that innocence. And this is coming up with the house. A really kind of, this house doesn't look like it, it's a little unusual. It's a home and it's very stable. Even though it doesn't look very stable, it actually is. And it's got this bright, that could be the moon, but I feel like that's the sun. It's got this bright, this bright sphere behind it. So it's like, this is a happy home. Children in a happy home. And feeling at home with yourself, being able to find playfulness and find joy at home, and maybe enjoying the kind of surrounding that you've built for yourself and your family, or if you live alone, maybe just for yourself, and being able to find that childlike side of you to the point of really enjoying some kind of project or some kind of activity that's really fun for you in a childlike way. that's embrace, allows you to embrace that, and feeling like really safe, and feeling happy in your surroundings. And I don't know why this color card came up, but this color card came up. Free yourself from pain. And this is red. And so this leads me to believe, like, if this is related to those two other cards, I mean, maybe there's something from your childhood that, you're working through. Maybe there's something about your home life, and maybe if you have children and you're at home with them and spending a lot of time, especially in this time of quarantine, even though things are opening up again. Maybe this is like, find your vitality, find your, maybe finding healing through this, finding healing and a release of pain by digging into your childhood, by looking back, by allowing yourself to maybe even journal and write, and just write out your feelings and pour it out somehow, as if you were a child and you're just writing or scribble or draw something where you get it out. And I mean, this home is a stable home. I know it looks a little weird, but maybe you came from, like, if you came from a home that wasn't exactly like happy or something, uh, that's what this could be about. This could be about digging into your past and really taking the time this weekend to allow yourself that freedom to go deep, and to not just to think about it, but to act on it. It's that action of play, to play. It's a verb. It's doing something. Act on it, at home. Act on it and allow yourself to really delve into something. I don't know, playing with clay or Play-Doh is coming to mind. Free yourself from pain, the pain of your childhood. And then this is coming up. This is the Fellow card. The Fellow card is someone who's grown up. They're a mature person, could be male or female. It's a mature person someone who's always been different and always stood out, always was a very unique individual. And as a mature person, they totally and completely accept and love who they are unapologetically. So if anyone else, sees what a unique character they are, um, this person has people who respect them, love them for who they are, but most of all, this person has a lot of self-respect and self-acceptance with who they are. They're just unapologetically, they're who they are. And this is about the Three of Pentacles, is about building something. It can mean a collaboration, but it doesn't have to mean that. But the three is like, can be working with others in a business or a trade. And it can also mean just, building something, mastering something, working towards something. And working toward it, toward Kaching, this is the Kaching card. 10 of Pentacles, which is, very prosperous. So using your unique abilities, maybe overcoming that. I don't know if that's like a separate reading, those cards of overcoming the childhood stuff. But it could be linked also to once, and excuse any external noise. I live in a very busy neighborhood, but, you know, if someone overcomes things that they went through in their childhood and really dives deep, they get to a point where they're confident in themselves. They can get to a point where it's like, yes, I finally accept myself. I finally know who I am. I love who I am. And I'm going to just be myself, not caring, or worrying about other people's judgments. And I'm going to be myself grow my business, work on the things I love doing, and I'm going to do really well at it. And this is the card. This is all these pentacles, all these coins, prosperity. And it can mean prosperity in a lot of different ways too. Prosperity and abundance, prosperity of character, prosperity in that self-acceptance and feeling like a joy of life, because you're not worried about what anyone else thinks. You're not constantly comparing yourself to others, not constantly, it's getting past that, the pain of childhood and the pain of when we were younger, we were always worrying. Most kids worry terribly, and there's certain ages that are more difficult than others. Um, Worried about what the other kids are going to think, or especially if it's someone who's different. I was one of those kids, and I stuck to myself a lot. And it's like, yeah, you get through that other stuff and you work on the childhood issues, and you come to a place of that self-acceptance to the point where you're just like, you have prosperity. You have prosperity in who you are and who you know you are. And there's also a sense of belonging. Okay, so this is the Ganesh card, and Ganesha is the remover of obstacles. And look at him. He's just like wiped. He's like, boom, remover of obstacles. I belong. He's like, I'm here. I'm like so happy. And yes, I know that my camera reads things in reverse, but he's like belonging. He knows himself, and wherever he goes, he feels comfortable because he's comfortable in himself, and that's why he feels like he belongs. Belonging, a sense of belonging. Yes, I mean, our external circumstances can contribute to our sense of belonging, but most of all, it's what we have inside of us that contributes to our sense of belonging. That's if we're comfortable within ourselves, then wherever we go, there we are. I know that's a saying. Then wherever we go, we feel like we belong, because it's like a turtle carrying its shell on its back. It's always home, you know. So the sense of belonging, and then these cards, which is interesting. This kind of doesn't feel like it goes either, but maybe the weekend encompasses like 2 days, so a lot can happen in 2 days, right? So maybe this is more towards Sunday. The Queen of Swords. Now, she can mean an air sign, but she doesn't have to. She's a woman who is a self-made woman. She is very powerful, strong intellectually. She knows exactly what she wants. She does not mince words. She's very direct. She enforces her boundaries. She's highly, highly independent. She would rather work alone than with others, and she will tell people exactly what she thinks of them. And she tends to stick to herself. She doesn't have to be single. She could just mean someone who likes a lot of her time alone because she works better on her own. She just does. And maybe that's what the unique character is. Once you're coming into yourself and getting through some childhood issues that just get put on the back burner, or not put on the back burner, they get resolved. I feel like there's some kind of resolution over this weekend with us seeing ourselves clearly with that unique character card that came up, and seeing our worth, and finally being able to have clarity, because she also has a very sharp intuition and clarity about who she is and her place in the world. And this card's about putting things away for a rainy day, or like in the middle of winter, there are all these mice and they're burrowing deep beneath the earth and they're putting things away. They're saving. Okay, so this is like maybe by the end of the weekend, being sure of yourself, being maybe a little more reserved toward the end of the weekend. And maybe realizing, okay, I'm going to I went out, I enjoyed, I was myself, I showed myself proudly, with pride. I mean pride in a really good way. I went out and I totally was in a joyful place about knowing who I am and not being afraid to show it. And by the end of the weekend, it's like, okay, I've got clarity now. Now I'm like, by the end of Sunday, it's like, now I'm really clear on who I am and what I have to, to put away, to save away for myself. Going to maybe go back into my shell, maybe go back into my, up into my tower and lock my door and do my work or prepare for the week ahead. And, so this might be how the weekend goes, is it might start out with that, dealing with the childhood issues coming up and then coming into ourselves and, having a sense of belonging and really celebrating that. Maybe there's something going on this weekend. I know that it's Pride Month too. So happy Pride Month for those who celebrate it. And then, having that clarity and then being able to, like, by the end of the weekend, preparing for the week ahead and being like, okay, another thing that's coming to me too is that when you get that rush of like, I've done this, I'm happy. Wow, I did this. I went out. I was myself. I celebrated. Had a great time. I just could be myself. I accepted myself. I finally accept myself and who I am. So then it's like, okay, I don't have to prove myself anymore. I can just get back to business as usual. So it's almost like over the weekend there's this big, I want to say, a healing or a revelation in some ways, like some kind of healing regarding childhood and having it bubble up for us to deal with, having it giving you the opportunity to really see yourself very clearly in who you are now and who you've become and all the gifts you have to share, and that you actually belong. You have a sense of belonging in your life and in who you are. And then by the end of the weekend, it's like, okay, I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to prove myself anymore. I can just go back home and just settle in and, relax. And, it's like expansion and then contraction again. Not really contraction, but expansion and then coming back into a more solitary place. So that's how it feels like the weekend, according to the cards, is playing out. It's interesting. So Saturday and Sunday might be very, very different days. But if you're watching this, especially at the end of the weekend or whenever you're watching it, just kind of I guess pay attention to like how the weekend begins and then how it ends up, and let that inform you of your growth, your awakening, your opening up to who you are, your opening up to life and sharing yourself with life. And there's a progression there. So if that made sense and that resonated with anybody, please, I would love to hear you. So please leave a comment down below. And thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, please feel free to like my video and subscribe to my channel. And there's also a little bell down below on the lower right that if you click that bell, it makes like a little line through it, and that will notify you whenever a new video is posted. Okay, so have a beautiful weekend, everybody. A beautiful weekend, and stay safe and stay well. Okay, peace, love, and blessings to all. Okay, thank you.